Hey everybody, welcome to casterscorner.com. I'm your host Cleo here for another toy of the day. And we're continuing working our way through the Age of Apocalypse, which is a little bit of a daunting goal. And I know that our Magneto Rogue one was a little bit short. I think there just wasn't a lot to talk about with the figures themselves. We've seen the Magneto body, we've seen kind of those pieces for Rogue. So there wasn't a lot to kind of go through with them, but hopefully we've got a lot more to talk about with the other figures. So today you can follow us, or you can follow us. We're at Caster's Corner. You go to casterscorner.com for a full gallery of these two figures. I thought they were a really nice pairing. And you can check out the Cornercast podcast. Subscribe to that. Subscribe to this channel. The more of you that subscribe, the more cool thing. Subscribe to the channel. The more of you that subscribe, the more cool things we get to do, and then we get to share them with you. And that's been the best part of this year worth of journey for us, for me. So we got Sunfire and Iceman here. Wave 1, Wave 2. Sunfire was due for an update. We had a early Hasbro one that I believe was either Comic-Con, and he was kind of by himself, right? We didn't have any other AOA figures really. We just had him. This one kind of made the jump into the main MCU a little bit, so the look kind of matched. But a much needed update with better articulation, better detailing, better design. The colors wouldn't match necessarily, but you could definitely swap out these hands here for the Johnny Storm figures that we've seen here and there. They're a little more orange, but there is orange down the wrist there. So you could probably kind of fudge it. The face mask is a separate piece there. That's kind of, it looks separate. Yeah, it definitely looks separate. It's kind of put on the face. So they did a really good job kind of recreating that look. And then in Wave 2, we get Iceman. And Bobby Drake happens to be one of, if not my favorite X-Men in the world. So super psyched to get another version of Iceman. I actually was just going to use the Juggernaut Wave Iceman for Age of Apocalypse. I didn't expect them to make an Iceman for this. The look is not that unique when you think about it compared to that one. He's got the bare feet, the translucent but frosted lower legs, very translucent body, and then he frosts out in different parts of the body overall. He's got the face. There's not a lot of detail to it. It's kind of like masked up, kind of very, very smooth, very ice-like. And he does come with alternate hands, which is a really nice touch for him, to be honest with you. So we get these big, huge, like ice. Oop, that's the wrong hand. I remember when Jesse was doing these reviews, and I was like, don't swap things on camera. You're going to break something or it's not going to work. But here we are. Here I am, 300 days in, and swapping parts there. He is not pinless. You can see the pins, but they don't really distract from the sculpt. And you get the ice hands there. So, I mean, it's... I think they're great additions. I think that they really work. They really round out the heroes, the X-Men side of this whole thing, away from the Apocalypse side. So you round out that kind of X-Men vibe. You can mix and match them with Magneto and Rogue. You can add them there. Hopefully we'll get a Storm at some point. That would be a really nice touch to it, or a Nightcrawler, to kind of really, really start to flesh these things out. But yeah, it's just, they've done a really good job. And knowing that, when they released Wave 1, they said, well, we're going to get to a Wave 2. And they haven't officially said Wave 3, but there's been a lot of talk and a lot of chatter on the boards. And I think we know Dan on the Marvel team is a big fan of the Age of Apocalypse. So hopefully we'll get a Wave 3. Because like I said, we need a Sinister. We need a Nightcrawler. Stormwood has a different look. We need an updated Nemesis. We have to have a Bishop. So we do need more characters. Fire and Ice here are great, and they're great additions to the line. But we definitely need more. So You can check out a full gallery of these two up on casterscorner.com. You can follow us. We are at Casters Corner on all social media. All the links are down below, as well as our link to our podcast, the Cornercast podcast. Yeah, I think one of the differences here too, I noticed that just as I'm kind of posing him there, we've got the back butterflies on him. We've got the standard shoulders on him. So there's a little more of a flight ability here with this one, whereas Iceman doesn't really need that. So, yeah. So hit the subscribe button. We really appreciate you. Hopefully you'll come back for. We've got 2 more Age of Apocalypse videos. There will be quick ones too. There's not a lot to talk about. Well, the last 2 we actually have a decent amount to talk about with the last 2 reviews as I'm kind of looking over, surveying what's coming next. But we appreciate all your support, and we'll see you here on casterscorner.com for another toy of the day tomorrow. Have a good night, everybody.